I'm going to take us now to Jeannette Morris-Boam, who works for Leeds Women's Aid.
Hi. It's funny because when I woke up this morning, I was out walking the dog and it was beautiful blue skies, and it actually made me realise what today is all about. I was fortunate, I was in a field, open space, on my own, feeling quite relaxed. Yet I know in some of the parks that I know in Leeds specifically, you know, that isn't the case. I'm from Leeds Women's Aid. I'm the Project Partnerships Director, and I am part of a Leeds consortium of 12 women-centred organisations called Women's Lives Leeds, and we are the lead partner. And it's interesting that some of the things that we've already heard in such a short space of time are going to be duplicated in what I've got to say. So there are already some key messages, and I find that really good that we're all singing and saying the same things. Back in 2021, we conducted a women's safety survey, and it was a big, broad survey around women's safety in Leeds, but there were things in there that pertain to parks. And I just want to draw out the key messages of why we're here today that came from that women's survey, of which we received over 3,070 responses just from women in Leeds. The first one is actually men's behaviours towards women, and there has to be a lot to be done to actually stop those behaviours towards women, you know. And what we've got here is, from our survey, 81% of those women said that it's the behaviour of men that stops them doing things in their Leeds local parks. 81%, that's a lot from 1,300 responses. Okay, and then we talked about the impact on how women feel safe in parks. And feeling unsafe restricts women's choices and the freedom of movement. And our findings again show that 1 in 5, so 25% of women in Leeds, always or often feel unsafe when exercising in an outdoor public space. That's horrendous, because I go jogging through 2 of the parks that we, you know, so to have to think about other women doing that, that's not a good statistic. Okay, and then some of the things that again have been mentioned, the lack of people, so the lack of use of the park actually worries women. Yeah, the lack of poor lighting are also factors, and 70% of women also said that this, and then another 50% cited the lack of a present policing, somebody visible, just to give them that assurance that this place is going to be safe. Those were the key messages, yeah. We understand, and again, we know what the key messages are that women and girls have said in Leeds, because we've asked them, yeah, and they correlate with what's in that research, you know, so they're just always never going to access until we do something around them. We did co-produce some real local parks consultation, one on Woodhouse Moor, which is a walk away from here, and the other one, Holbeck Moor. And again, the messages were the same in those local parks about poor accessibility, poor lighting, so there's some consistency, and not feeling safe. So, you know, and generally the safety, the physical environment, the lack of women-friendly facilities in those parks were major factors of why women and girls didn't feel safe in those 2 areas of Leeds. I've experienced issues when I've cycled up through Holbeck Moor. That's on my way home from work every day. I'm a cyclist. Can you imagine walking there on your own? Yeah. It's informed us as a consortium that we have still a lot more to do, and we focus our efforts so much more to make public spaces safer for women, and there is some fantastic work now going on in Leeds City Centre, championing that cause to make that city centre a better place. We understand that the behaviours of men is going to be a challenge that we all have to address, and again there's some fantastic work now going on in Leeds about educating and bystander training, and training for men to acknowledge when women are feeling vulnerable in those places, to maybe challenge people who are taking them, I suppose, abusing those women when they're carrying out their everyday activities. So we're focusing on training on that as a consortium, because we really believe that women and girls need to have their lives fully filled and can lead promising lives. In terms of the guidance, in my opinion, there's nothing better. Well, there is, and I'll come on to that. There is. There's nothing better, but hey, there is, you know, I'm here now, you're going to hear it. Than having localised, evidence-based information and learning from your local community, and that's what we took the time to do. So it's all right creating those reports and those documents, but it's about what next and what do we use, yeah, totally support the guidance based on learning with other, so it's learning from women and girls. So of course I'm going to endorse it. It's from the women and girls, and part of the women and girls at Leeds have contributed to that. So that's really crucial. So I would endorse that in guidance every day. Yeah. The themes and the 10 principles, to me, are there to support folk like you to consider now what next and how do we make these places. So I'm saying use them as a guidance, use them as a blueprint. They give you some tips on what to do to maybe manage things effectively through your maintenance and management and your development. Yeah, I think parks are essential for everyone. They, as it mentions, they enable rest and relaxation. And I think the one thing, though, that I'm going to go back to now is the co-production. That's my bag, co-production. We've got to have the women and girls sat round here. It's a shame that they're not here today listening to what we've got to say. That's what I think is missing today, actually having a physical presence so they can hear that we are trying to make a difference. Yeah. My challenge to everybody here is to include them from the beginning, not as an afterthought. Now, round this table, we want to redesign this park, we want to develop that park. Who better than to ask and involve the women and girls who have informed this research and informed our research and informed our work as Leeds Women's Aid and Women's Lives Leeds, how to make Leeds a better city for women. How can we make parks better? Ask them where that tree should go, ask them where that bench should go, ask them about the lighting, ask them about the bushes and if they're safe, ask them about the parks. Don't think, get them in, get them round that table. That's my ask to people and the folk of Leeds particularly. Yeah. I just want to conclude that women and girls in Leeds are 51% of the population. Yeah.
West Yorkshire's 50.
51%. And we could do so much better, yeah, to listen to them and act upon them. Yeah. And we have made some good steps, and I want to just celebrate some of the successes that we're having with our partners about redeveloping the city centre spaces, because it would be unfair to beat people with sticks today without saying there is some real good positive stuff going on. And we want more. All we want from our point of view is Leeds to be safe for women, and for us a women-friendly city. And we have a hashtag which is better for women, better for everyone. Because if we can get it for better for women, you sure as hell know that it's going to be better for everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you.